I'm back like a vertebrae. And guess what? Today we're talking about gender imbalance. Gender imbalance. It's gender imbalanced. Yeah, kiss mine. So, gender imbalance. Is it real? No. It's stupid. It's stupid. Alright, so gender imbalance has come about because leftists have been fighting for what's fair, but they really need to work on their definition of fair. As I've pointed out in other videos, they don't get what being fair is. They have a true misconception of what is fair. Okay, so gender imbalance. What are they doing? They're looking at male-dominated things. They're looking at male-dominated works, like areas of work. Excuse me. They're looking at male-dominated areas of interest, such as social groups, such as the Boy Scouts and stuff like this. And what they're saying is, too many boys! Too many men! I'm triggered! That's what they're doing. But, see, as I've pointed out in other things, and I'll point this out over and over in the hopes that, some leftists will actually pick up on what I'm saying and realise that they're not being fair and they're not being balanced. If they were fair and balanced, they would also target female groups, and they would say, oh, that group doesn't have enough men in it. Quick, insert more men. I'm triggered. But let me just clarify my point of view, my stance here on that kind of idea. I personally don't mind if women have their own groups and men have their own groups. I personally don't mind if men have male-dominated works, and I don't mind if women have female-dominated careers of work types and that sort of thing. That's okay, because that's what I call, right, the natural balance, which is quite the opposite to this gender imbalance. The natural balance, essentially, is letting people be people and not trying to force people into certain positions, into certain jobs, not trying to force people into certain areas of interest like certain social groups and stuff like that. Because when you let the natural balance happen, society just functions without any... Hang on, what? I don't hear any whinging. Oh, that's because society's working properly. Oh, that's because the natural balance is better than leftist ideas like gender imbalance. Oh, that's why it makes sense. It's logic and it's intelligent. Oh, I get it now. Alright, so the natural balance, you let people, for example, women, gravitate towards jobs that they naturally gravitate towards. Because it is true, like men and women don't all go for the same jobs. They don't. It's a fact. There are some cases where men and women can work in the same certain type of job, but there is a lot of cases where men and women choose very different jobs. For example, men are more interested in dangerous stuff, like the army, like the police force, like being an electrician and working around and being a mechanic and stuff like that. In the heavy things where you got to be stronger, in the things where men just dominate. And women are more interested in the caring side of things, like social work, things that are more like gentle and things that are safer, things that don't require as much physical strength, things like running flower shops and beauty salons and stuff like that. Women tend to gravitate towards that sort of thing, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it both ways in a sense, because, men going towards their jobs, women going towards their jobs. It's the natural order, and society flows smoothly. The issue of gender imbalance coming in is that what it does is it looks at this natural order and it says, I don't like it, I'm triggered, there's not enough women in that job, ah! They do that, and they start whinging, they go, and go be a cry-bully and try and tear everybody down if they disagree with them, and they say that in order for this to be fair, this male-dominated job this male-dominated area of interest needs more women in it. And that's what they say. And then they start complaining, and they start saying, "Oh, Sue," and they start saying, "You're discriminating," and they start throwing names like bigot and stuff like that at people, and they start judging people and tearing down their, attacking their character and tearing down their reputation just because they're triggered. I hate the leftist approach so much. It is gutless, it is subliminal, it is sneaky, and it's not based on truth. And when it's not being sneaky, it's about destroying someone's character instead of talking about actual issues that we actually deal with. Such issues as leftists attacking people's character. I'm triggered! Sorry. Doing my lefty voice kind of hurt my throat. There's nothing in it. It's empty. I gotta fire through. Alright. So they come along, and what they're doing is messing up the natural balance. There is a natural balance happening, as I said, that helps everything run smoothly. And it helps everything run without a hitch. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And the reason why, it's kind of like a machine that's working smoothly, right? Let's say your car. When you have a car and it's working well, you can't hear anything wrong with it. You can't hear anything complaining. You can't hear any issue with it. It's because it's working. The things that are working, you don't really notice because they're working. So, that's why in the past, people didn't really notice there was an issue of men going towards certain interests and women going towards certain interests, because there wasn't an issue! There was no issue. There was no problem, because people were not being forced to try and do something that they don't naturally take an interest in, like they are now. What the leftists are doing now is they are trying to force women and push women into male-dominated areas, claiming there is a gender imbalance. And not only that, it's not only gender-based, it's also based on ethnicity. People are trying to force quotas on businesses now, rather than businesses hiring people because they can do the job, and that's ultimately what makes a business efficient, isn't it? So, instead of hiring people who can do the job, they're working off a bloody leftist bullcrap quota that says, you don't have enough women, so you need 2 more women in your workplace. Oh, we're happy now. Oh, wait, you don't have any Asians in your workplace. You need some Asians in your workplace. Alright, that's fine. You got Asians. Doesn't matter if they can do the job or not, they just got to be Asian. Doesn't matter if they can do the job or not, they just got to be women. You don't have enough dark-skinned people in your workplace. Get some more dark-skinned people and we'll be happy. Us leftists will be happy. Oh, I don't identify as a leftist. I identify as an attack helicopter. So you better call me an attack helicopter next time I see you, or I'll call you a bigot. Oh, that's so much what leftists are like. Anyway, so yeah, just really dumb. So they got these bloody stupid agendas forcing this quota on businesses that make it more about hiring people for the sake of friggin' diversity instead of friggin' doing the job right and well. This is why I hate political correctness so much, because they just complicate everything. Political correctness complicates everything. Instead of letting the natural order of men and women gravitate naturally towards the jobs that they like, you're trying to tell women that they need to do more man jobs. You're trying to tell them to get in there in the male-dominated jobs, and because they're unfair and unbalanced, even though they claim to be fair and balanced, they never ever say that there aren't enough males in a female-dominated area. Why? Because they're inconsistent. Lefties are highly inconsistent. Right. So, they're jumbling everything up. They're creating this, they're looking at the natural balance, and they're offended by it, because I don't know why. I don't get it. They're just kicking up a stink. They're cry bullying and all that stuff. SJW-ing. They're coming in and they're putting a spanner in the works when in fact it worked before the lefty spanner got thrown in. It was working fine. You're complicating everything. You're trying to make everything fair. You're making everything bloody complicated. Leave it alone. Let women go for the jobs they want to go for. Let men go for the jobs they want to go for. And newsflash, men and women are different, so therefore they go for different jobs. Get over it. Oh. And men and women go for different social groups too, so get over it.